Hello there, lovely people. It's Alex from Nintendo Life here, and today I'm going to take you through everything that you missed from the final Tears of the Kingdom trailer, and oh my god, there's a lot. No waffling this time, we're going to get right into it because there is so much to break down. Starting things off, you may well have seen this one. There's a soldier construct fighting a choo-choo here, showing that there's clearly some sort of animosity between the choo-choos, at the very least, and the constructs. Maybe they're going to be enemies with all of Ganondorf's minions. Shortly afterwards, we see a ranger construct and they're actually chopping down the tree. At first, I thought they were painting it. I don't know why I thought that. Moving on, we see this village, and this isn't actually a new village. This is very clearly Hateno village, and it is clearly thriving, which is really nice to see after all the horrible sort of, calamity of Breath of the Wild. Moreover, there seems to be an awful lot of mushroom motifs going around, which I'm all for. And then we see, well, this is Kakariko village, but unfortunately it seems like it's had a bit of a hard time. It seems that a load of ruins, maybe from a sky island or something similar, have fallen down, and although it doesn't immediately appear that any homes or buildings have been destroyed, it's a pretty close call, and I imagine that the residents are a little bit concerned, to say the least. Interestingly, we see a load of Sheikah here, which kind of reinforces the idea that Kakariko is maybe it's no longer safe and habitable, so they're having to build somewhere else. You can see that there are some building supplies to the side, as Hyrule Castle's going all into the sky and stuff. Now, this is definitely an interesting one. I've got a few ideas as to what this could be. I mean, it's fairly clearly this is Ganondorf. I've seen some people online saying, oh, it's Demise, and I mean, Ganondorf and Demise are kind of two sides of the same coin, but I believe that this is actually a sort of a powered-up version of Ganondorf, a sort of enhanced version, which I'll explain later on. It'll make more sense later rather than now. Now, this is something that has been speculated on for some time, but clearly Link's arm here has been burnt or something with malice. Like, I mean, if that's not malice, I don't know what. And I know we've seen him, like, raise his hand and it's all, like, flying around, but this is just reinforcing the idea that, yeah, this is malice doing this harm, and therefore maybe the Zonai arm thing that was holding down Ganondorf is gonna heal Link's arm or merge with it. Either way, this is Ganondorf's doing, the naughty sausage. In this shot, we can actually see one of those, I don't want to call them shrines, but they very much appear as though they're going to be sort of shrine-like replacements. And we've seen them before, but this one does not have that green spiral coming out of it. So this is clearly a shrine type thing in like a different state, perhaps. Maybe it's active, maybe it's inactive. Again, we don't know what the swirly spiral means, so we don't know which way this one's sliding. And just as Link comes down here, it's super blurry, I'm afraid, but Link appears to be wearing some sort of wingsuit or something like that. It could just be an outfit, but given the way that he's breaking his fall, admittedly, we see him do this in other areas as well. But maybe this is like, maybe this gives you a bonus to breaking your fall and allows you to move more. It looks like a wingsuit, and that's pretty cool. Now in the previous video where we looked at the gameplay presentation, we saw like an orb icon on the map, and we saw something that looked a lot like this in the distance. So this is clearly a closer up look at it, and it appears to be some sort of gacha machine. I mean, there's even like a handle for you to turn, and there's balls inside. I don't know, but that's clearly what they're going for. Kind of fun. I overlooked this the first time I watched it, but this is clearly a labyrinth of some description, or a similar structure to the labyrinths that we had in Breath of the Wild. Just a small little note, but interesting nonetheless. Link's got a shiny new sort of Zonai type weapon here. Looks like a spear or something to that effect. I wonder whether some people felt that it was fused. I don't think this is. It looks far too intentional to be a fused weapon. I think this is a brand newie. And a little bit further along, these people that are fighting all the bokoblins and the moblins, they're not soldiers, they're just villagers. Like, they're using makeshift weapons. They're not really using armor of any description. That's pretty frightening. They're clearly fighting for their homeland, and that's pretty cool. but also why? Oh, now this bit's super interesting. So we can see Link has the Sheikah Slate here, which it's fairly likely that he doesn't later on. Also, this is before Link's arm gets corrupted, and the Sheikah Slate also looks different. It looks way more like a switch, which, again, we've seen Zelda using in previous trailers, but also Link appears to be on some sort of winch-like system, and the Sheikah Slate is plugged in via some sort of Sheikah USB-C cable. That's very tasty. Oh lordy, we could speculate about this one till the cows come home, couldn't we? Right? I mean, a lot of people are immediately saying that this is a Zonai, and to be honest, yeah, I mean, it's most likely to be a Zonai, but we don't actually know. But what we do know is if you look right in the middle of their forehead, the way that the lighting is bouncing off there, that's a bulge. That's a closed eye, and if you look at the sort of the pointy bits, yeah, it's a closed Sheikah eye. Oh lordy, speculate about that one in the comments. But the hair pieces and the necklace and everything, it's all screaming Zonai. So if this isn't a Zonai, it's something very close, or something, you know, very closely related to the Zonai. Either way, as I say, we could speculate about this for years. I just want to wait and see now. And if that was a Zonai, then we've got another one right here. Zelda appears to be wearing Zonai-like garb, and this character whose face we can't see, they are wearing the same kind of thing. It's all the same green, and yeah, it's very clearly Zonai. And once again, we see the third eye in the forehead on that sort of decorative thing that they're kind of wearing. It's very unclear who this character is. There's a part of me that thinks maybe this is like Ganondorf in the past or something, but well, that's really stretching the idea of speculation, and I kind of want to like focus on concrete stuff. Ever so slightly blink and you'll miss it. Link has fused a shield to a claymore here. That's that's ridiculous. And you actually get to see Link like parry an attack. So there's actually a functional purpose to it as well. This fuse system is going to be absolutely crackers. If you look right here, we can see two little Goron just hanging out the back. They seem to be sort of like covering their faces as if they're going, oh no, what's going to happen to Link? Or maybe this is some sort of test that they're putting Link through. I don't know, but two little Goron. Two little Goron. This little guy flying up alongside Link, don't know for certain, but it appears to be Tulin, who is Teba's son, and Teba's one of the people that you meet, one of the Rito that you meet in Breath of the Wild. This looks a lot like his son Tulin, and considering that this takes place presumably a couple of years afterwards, it makes sense. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool throwback. Interesting to note that this carriage, I mean, Link's taking people, I mean, that's pretty obvious, but it's very apparent that this carriage has been made using the Ultra Hand. It's got that same green-like goo keeping it together. So Link has clearly repaired this wagon rather than painted it. Now if you can peel your eyes away from the fact that Link has a rocket shield for but a moment, you'll see that this is Eventide Isle, and the clear distinguishing feature is the little rock formations in the water there. This is 100% Eventide. I can't believe I recognize this. Not so much something you miss, because I mean, yeah, it's an underground area, but just have a look. This place is blinking huge. Like, you can see the way it goes all the way down there, and it goes around the side. It's just massive, and that it just fills me with glee. We get to see fuse in action here with Link fusing a ruby to an arrow, and as stated in the descriptions in Breath of the Wild, rubies have the power of fire, and that is clearly what's happening here. It shows that we can fuse rubies to arrows, which seems like a bit of a waste, but who knows, maybe they do crazy damage. This fuse system is going to be absolutely mental, isn't it? Also, Link is wearing a very different set of clothing here, which looks, again, kind of very Zonai-like, but very different at the same time, almost like a sort of a different take on Zonai. We're gonna get multiple Zonai outfits from the looks of it, but I mean, it's got all the Zonai trappings. Very little thing here, but there's a bokoblin with like a basket on their back with a load of red chew jelly in it. So I'm guessing maybe this is a bokoblin like grenadier or something. That's kind of frightening. Now, you've probably seen this because it's not like there's anything in the scene, you know, that would maybe distract your attention. You know, like a massive flipping centipede thing. I think it's a Goma. But we see another outfit for Link here as well, with some sort of like headpiece, and it's kind of glowing blue, maybe slightly tealy and stuff like that. I don't know. It's just new clothes, baby. This one's a little bit difficult to distinguish, but it looks a little here like these Lynels have weapons attached to their horns. Like, just the way that they move and everything like that is very difficult to express, but it doesn't look as though that they're weapons that are on their back, which is terrifying because presumably they're going to have weapons as well. So weapons on their head, weapons in their hands. It's scare time. You may well have seen in the trailer prior that Zelda had a bean in her hand, and it looks like Ganondorf's got a bean in his head here as well, and this is why I think that earlier that Demise-looking character is like a souped-up form of Ganondorf. He's using the bean. I know it's a tear of the kingdom, but I'm going to call it a bean. He uses the bean, he powers up, he gets all the red flowing hair, and that's further emphasized by something in just a moment. So who's this character then? Oh, it's a new character. Is it Bubkus? This is Zelda. Zelda using some sort of powered-up form. Again, look at the bean. We know it's Zelda because she's wearing the same clothes. She's got the same sort of like teardrop markings under her eyes, only there's a lot more of them. The same like forehead jewelry headpiece thing. Yeah, and also it just looks like Zelda. Her ears are bigger though, and more importantly, this next shot is her using her laser powers to absolutely obliterate some Moldulga. In my notes, I've just written, this is Zelda's final smash. If we look carefully here, we can see that Riju, who's returning, fun, although you probably didn't miss that because she's literally right in the middle of the shot here. But if you look in her hair, she has a bean as well. Oh, everyone's got beans. Skyrim reference. Here we can see that Sidon's got a bean in his hand as well, so yeah, he's rocking a bean as well. And then for literally like one frame clearly, we can see Tulin also has a bean. Loads of people have been speculating that this is a Gleeok, which is like a really old Zelda enemy, and I agree, I think it probably is a Gleeok. But what's interesting is that the eyes that the Gleeok has are like exactly the same, or not exactly, but very close to the eyes that you would find on Malice in Breath of the Wild. I don't know, that's pretty cool. This one's semi-obvious, but you might just be looking at the logo. Yeah, in the background, this carving, that's clearly Ganondorf. Scary, scary. And finally, as the date appears, we get a lovely little plink plonk, and that plink plonk is Zelda's lullaby. Have a listen. It's slow, but it's undeniably that. And there you have it. I told you there was a lot. So many beans of the kingdom. We've no doubt not managed to catch everything, so let us know if you noticed something we didn't with a comment in the usual comment depository. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, then why don't you slap that subscribe button, bean of the kingdom, and be sure to check out NintendoLife.com for all sorts of lovely Nintendo-related content. Thank you again for watching. Bye-bye. You cannot tell, but I am giving a thumbs up.